Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today, our Monday version of the show is a little bit different. We're going to get with our good friend Richard Finn here right out of the chute after the first break. He's a participant in my office with the use of frequency-specific microcurrent, and with the up-and-coming conference we've got scheduled for the month of April, that we've invited you out there as listeners to become a part of. I thought we'd like to hear from Richard to get his take on both the conference and the role that frequency-specific microcurrent can play in your own health issues. So Richard Finn's going to be our guest today. We're going to get with him about quarter after the hour. We'll probably take him for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we'll take another break and just open it up to you. It's been a while. We had our Friday show with Shannon. And so now we're going to have about half of the show with Richard and then open it up to you today. We are in the last week of the month of March 2015. We're going to be turning that page with a lot going on in the month of April. So let's take a look. On Wednesday's show. Wednesday's show is April 1. And of course, she, being here on a Wednesday, well, not the original, but a Dr. of Women in her own right, Dr. Susan Smith-Jones will be our guest. And as you well know, she'll just take over the place, and we'll find out what's on her mind. I usually get talking points sometime today. I'll share them with you on Wednesday when she will be aboard. Of course, the month of April is going to be involving our conference on frequency-specific microcurrent. This conference is going to be held on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of the month. April 10, which is a Friday, all day, one day, for lay persons only. People that aren't practitioners but either use microcurrent for themselves or also want to treat other family members with the use of devices that they have. They just need a little encouragement to be able to involve the other family members along with them. So that's the layperson day. It was a must to include you, the listener. If you wanted to be a part of this, you showed your enthusiasm for microcurrent. The one Saturday we had Shannon here, you packed the place. You wanted to learn more. This is your opportunity. Give us a call here. Become involved as a participant on April 10. The number here is 724-942-3002. And you want to talk to Sister Sarah. She will get you enrolled for the layperson's one-day conference on Friday. Then if you're a practitioner of a whole number of disciplines, you could be a medical doctor, a osteopathic physician, naturopath, a physical therapist, perfectly positioned for this, chiropractors, and the list goes on and on, massage therapists, a large list, working with someone directly above you that can sign off on these things. You want to be a part of the practitioner conference. And that's going to be held on April 11th, all day Saturday and half the day on Sunday. A two-dayer that will get you kicked off fairly well and get you oriented. I'm going to just say there'll have to be future follow-up courses. This will just be your starter. But for practitioners, You want to be brought into the 21st century with, I believe, the new paradigm shift in the treatment of all disorders, and the clinicians who are going to be trained in this will be the standard bearers as we move forward. So the 11th and 12th, if you are a practitioner, you'd like to be interested, you'd like to learn more, once again, you can give us a call. Well, you can do two things. You can head to the website that we put up on the conference. All aspects of the conference are explained there. That is at microcurrentconference.com. Once again, microcurrentconference.com. The location, the agenda, the speakers, the times, the location, all of that's listed on the site. Also, too, the phone number. If you like to stay overnight at the hotel, and this is going to be held at the Crown Plaza Hotel in the South Hills, directly across the street from South Hills Village. It's a full amenity hotel, and if you're traveling a good distance, maybe in the North Hills or for some faraway distance, you don't want to have to drive in both days, let me suggest that you stay at the Crown Plaza. We have a corporate rate there. $99 will get you the room for the night at a pretty nice hotel and spare you the back and forth, the long drives, and we'd just love to have you there. So the number for the hotel is there to be able to book the rooms. Make sure when asked for the code, you use the code Courtney Medical Group so you can get that $99 rate and sign up for them, with them, and then call us either before or after at 724-942-3002. Once again, you want to talk to Sister Sarah in order to get yourself enrolled. We're coming into that home stretch. This is not a large conference by any means. We're probably limited in space to about 20 participants. And when that fills up, and there ain't no more spots. So pick your poison. You're going to be involved either in the lay person's full day or the practitioner's 2-day, and call up at 724-942-3002. After you check it out at the website at microcurrentconference.com, we'll be talking a little bit about that with Richard. Anxious to get his take and let him share it with you on the up-and-coming conference. He will be a part of that conference. He will be lecturing at the conference. He's in my office 2 times a week, helping patients establish various frequency programs for their own individual medical issues. Okay, what else on the agenda here? Eye programs. Now look, we got another 3-day treatment program coming up in the month of April. The dates for the 3-day program are pushed way to the end now. Date is April 27th, 28th, and 29th. You're very familiar with these programs. If you have any severe retinal diseases like macular degeneration or glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy, retinitis pigmentosa, macular hole, macular pucker, the list goes on and on and on. If it's retinal, there's 2 things we can say about it. One, if it's retinal, there is no conventional therapy to help restore your vision. There just isn't. That's unfortunate. That's the way it is. But the other good thing to know, the second thing is, if it's retinal, there's great likelihood that within 3 days, we're going to get your particular problem turned around, and for the first time in a long time, give you the opportunity to actually improve your vision in 3 days. Now, it's a major thing when that happens. We always are amazed at day 3, and we certainly like to see the smiles on participants' faces as they leave. They come in rather, they're very anxious, and they're very depressed. They're unhappy because they see their vision leaving them, and nobody's doing a thing about it because they've been told there's nothing that can be done about it. Well, we want you to realize there absolutely is something that can be done about it. It is a non-conventional program. It is very aggressive, but it involves no injections, no drugs, no invasiveness in any form, no surgery. This is all alternatively devised by Dr. Edward Conrad, a local ophthalmologist to a very successful practice in Mount Lebanon back in the day, but about 14 years ago, packed that all in and headed to Phoenix, Arizona, where he put this program together. He traveled it and shopped it worldwide, coming to Pittsburgh on multiple occasions each and every year. But finally now, we are the affiliate. We are the Pittsburgh affiliate of the Healing the Eye and Wellness Center, created by Dr. Conrad, and we do these programs every month. Now, we'll tell you, for those of you with cataracts, and I know there are many of you out there, get ready, because there's going to be a new announcement coming up for Cataract Clinic. We just found some wonderful ways to turn the cataract around, and it takes some formal working with you, but I'll announce more about the Cataract Clinic program that'll be up and coming in the near months ahead. You'll want to be a part of it. Not everybody has a retinal problem, but unfortunately with age, just about everybody has a cataract issue. And rather than heading to that surgery to put a new lens in, an artificial lens, which, by the way, is complicated by the fact that within 2 years after you have a lens put in, an artificial lens, and I agree it can help your vision substantially, you develop macular degeneration, which within 2 years of having received that lens, because that lens cannot filter out UV light, and the UV light appears to be unfiltered, provocateur, a provocative agent for macular degeneration. And that word is just getting out. So if you got cataracts and you're sitting out there wondering, oh, I am interested in that, stay tuned. We're talking about a cataract clinic that will be developing here. And I'll bring Dr. Ed Conrad aboard to talk to you about it. He's having great success with this down there in Fort Myers, Florida, the new home of the Conrad facility. It used to be up near Tampa. Now it's south of Tampa and Fort Myers. More about that as time moves on. We are also your Lyme's disease treatment headquarters. Combination of ozone and LDI, low dose immunotherapy, a combination you just can't find. Many places throughout this country seems to be able to get this disease really turned around, and I mean definitively within a very short period of time. If you have Lyme disease and you know it, or if you just feel miserable and you don't know why, and no one seems to be able to tell you why, those are the kind of people that usually have a microbial beginning to a disease. If it's not Lyme's, it certainly parallels Lyme's, and the combination, the double whammy of ozone therapy as well as low-dose immunotherapy appears to be able to turn the tide for most of those individuals who are afflicted. So you want to give us a call to come in so we can have our initial consult and talk about how aggressive we're going to be. We will be very aggressive, I should add. But for those of you who just seem to get nowhere with that diagnosis, or other groups of unmentioned diagnoses, I mean, you just end up hitting a wall and nobody seems to be able to help you and even give you information that makes sense. You're the very person that needs to have that combination of ozone therapy combined with low-dose immunotherapy. The double whammy, as I say, is able to get people turned around in ways never heretofore mentioned before. Okay, going to also mention in the month of April, we're going to have Sharon Bovalina with us. She's our local Young Living representative, and she's very knowledgeable in the essential oils. She will be here on the 24th with you. She'll be on the air doing the show with me, giving you a local contact so that you can, if you have an interest in pursuing Young Living through the essential oils, Sharon not only will be on the show, she'll be in the office, and she'll be able to get those who have a desire to want to learn more about this, get involved, get enrolled, get scanned, this famous Zyto scan, which she does. You'll want to stay tuned. She'll be here on the 24th, and we'll let her describe her take on Young Living and essential oils in general. And that just about rounds it out, folks. There's the intro. Let's do this. We're going to take a short break. In the interim, I believe we'll get established with our good friend Richard Finn. He is quite the clinician when it comes to frequency-specific microcurrent. We're going to get his take on the up-and-coming conference. He will be participating in it. He's also inbound to my office today. He's well participating in it. He's here on every Monday and Wednesday helping patients find the right frequencies to correct their problem. Let's hear from Richard Finn in just a moment. We will be right back. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today in a Monday morning version of the show, and we're really coming into that home stretch as we approach the conference date of April 10, 11, and 12. Now, when I say conference, I'm talking about a microcurrent, frequency-specific microcurrent conference we put together with the help of many people. Of course, the guiding light in all this is none other than Shannon Gosen, who has been a trainer and an educator in the teaching of microcurrent for quite some time. We've had some great professional and friendly ties over the years. She's pretty much entrenched in Pittsburgh, been here many times, will be coming here many more. Shannon is the one who's really going to pick up the gauntlet and run with this. But of course, many others are involved. The gentleman we have with us today is absolutely involved, been involved with a number of years, 6 years worth of utilization of frequency-specific microcurrent. Also a clinician in his own right, a teacher and developer of programs to instruct on trigger point myotherapy. The combination of the two has really put him in a special category. We're happy to have him here in our office every Monday and Wednesday helping you conquer your pain problems. So we thought to bring him aboard today while he's coming into my office anyway would be time well spent. Let's say good morning and welcome aboard Mr. Richard Finn.
Well, good morning, Dr. Courtney. It's good to be here.
Glad that you're with us, Richard. I know you're motoring on your way in. I want you to be very careful as you're driving that vehicle. But I asked you if you would not mind coming ahead and sharing some of your thoughts on the issue of microcurrent therapy. Probably like to, however, started just by allowing you once again to explain how it is that you came by your prowess and your expertise in frequency-specific microcurrent. You had a long career dealing with pain problems, and it sort of has developed over the years. Quickly recap your training, your education, and your professional pedigree when it comes to treating people with pain problems.
Oh, right. That's not a difficult thing to do. I actually learned about trigger points when I was a student in the Army studying to be a physical therapy specialist in the Army Reserve. And I was off studying. I ran into a bookstore and found a book on trigger points, and I got completely absorbed and ignored all my other studies that evening. And then the following day I came back and I started working on people in class and getting really good results, and decided this was something I was very interested in. So when I finished my physical therapy training, I went off to Massachusetts and embarked in a trigger point training program. It was the only one of its kind in the country, and I was able to get out of that and get immediately into a very specific trigger point practice. That all began at about 1989 when I actually went through that kind of training. I was actually doing the work in physical therapy and in chiropractic offices from 1984 before I even went to school, just because I'd had the background in physical therapy and had read the literature. So following that, I ended up moving to Pittsburgh and beginning a school that was called the Pittsburgh School of Pain Management. I taught trigger point therapy for 18 years in that context.
18 years. You've had a lot of students come by you, and you've had the ability to teach them the art of utilizing the trigger point approaches to chronic pain problems. I certainly have a very kind and soft spot in my heart for the use of myotherapies and trigger point myotherapies. You and I both know the famous one, Dr. Janet Travell, who's been a guiding light for certainly my career, and I'm going to imagine part of yours too.
Yeah, I was actually an usher at her memorial service at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. And when my daughter was 3 months old, Dr. Travell held her, and that was kind of a high point in my life.
Ah, great memories of the lady.
Yes.
Doctor to presidents and the inventor, discoverer of myofascial pain syndrome. Now, over these 18 years of teaching in that school, at some point, and getting great results, I'm sure of that, at some point, somebody brings to you a message of some additional therapy that might be beneficial in the form of microcurrent. And that really becomes an offshoot that you pursue as aggressively as you had the trigger points. Pick up at that point and describe for our listeners how microcurrent therapy, frequency-specific microcurrent therapy, began to intrigue you and then got you so immersed in the use of it in treating the pain patients that you saw.
Well, one of the things that I found very, very quickly was that that the amount of time I had to spend working with somebody was quite a bit less than what it had been previously. In fact, when I went to my first microcurrent conference, what I was told was that about 20 minutes of microcurrent therapy was equal to about an hour of manual work.
I never heard that one before. That's good. Yeah.
And so that was very impressive to me. And again, it allowed yet another perspective. One of the things I do with trigger point therapy is that I've practiced it from a number of different perspectives. And when one thing doesn't work, I move on to the next. I've been on the the bandwagon for microcurrent therapy for quite some time now because of the kind of results that I see it getting on a rather consistent basis.
And at that point, was you acquired knowledge of the use of microcurrent? As you continue to pursue working with people and their pain problems, what's the split here? Do you predominantly use the trigger point myotherapy, or you predominantly use the microcurrent, or what's the breakdown that you find works out to give you the best results?
I usually find that a combination works really well. And that is the way I was actually trained to use the microcurrent for trigger point therapy, was to run the current while I was doing the treatment. It's just simply that it really sped things up. So when I have the option, I prefer to do both. Now, I still get really good results doing either one separately, but it's kind of like those Reese's peanut butter cups. You know, the chocolate and peanut butter go really well together.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, here we come to our reuniting. I've known you for so many years, Richard, out there doing the good work with myotherapy. And I think the attraction that originally brought us together had to do with Shannon Gosen once again. And lo and behold, she leaves my life for sure. I hadn't heard from her in years. And now that she's back in it, as we met in October once again, here comes Richard Finn. Where is it that you meet Shannon Gosen in all this, and what role she played in both the trigger point myotherapy as well as the frequency-specific therapies that you offer today? How is it that Shannon worked her way into your life?
Oh, wow, that's a fun story. So Shannon had actually been through a training in massage therapy and had taken a introductory trigger point therapy course 2 times. And then she contacted me and wanted to actually get a professional level certification. And so basically, I tutored Shannon and got her through that certification program. Almost immediately after that, Shannon found herself in the world of microcurrent, and then she turned around and taught me in the realm of microcurrent.
Oh, so the teacher turned into a student pretty interestingly. Didn't that happen that way, huh?
That absolutely happened that way. So when Shannon left me, she ended up going off to acupuncture school in addition, and then working in a medical office. And so she got a tremendous amount of information that was, again, different and from what I had given her. And so when she developed this specialty of microcurrent, it became, she turned around and introduced me to it, brought me into the training at the microcurrent conferences there with Dr. McMakin. And then over the years, as I had individual questions, her and I corresponded, and she helped with a number of getting some of those thoughts and concepts over to me. And so now we talk back and forth across many kinds of different issues here. And the thing that kind of really tends to tie her and I together is a very intense interest in neurology and how that affects pain.
Okay, because I'm very familiar with Shannon's take on the fact that her husband's a pretty famous neurosurgeon probably has helped her in her appreciation of neurology to a level that most other people don't get that vantage point from. That's just my personal take on all that. I think Arnold, her husband, who is now retired from surgery, has been a great guiding light for her and provided a pathway that she can pursue to gain access to the conventional medical world that's pretty much blocked out by others. It was well opened up for her, and it's allowed her to move into a realm she's perfectly comfortable with and capable of interacting with also. Now, as we put this conference together, I really am interested in your impression about such a conference. How well can a listener out there right now who maybe, let's take the layperson for instance, the person who may be having a pain problem, maybe already using frequency-specific microcurrent, or maybe not at all, but doesn't treat patients. They are worried about themselves and maybe other family members. This is the ideal person to be involved with our lay person day of April 10th, where they're going to spend all day with us. What can a person who participates in that particular conference expect to gain by participating in it?
There's a couple of things. I think the biggest one is when somebody gets a machine for whatever usage, and I'm not talking just about microcurrent machines. I mean, if your therapist or physician gives you anything and they say, go do this, well, people go do this, but they don't really have understanding. And I think the beauty of this is that the patients who get this, the people who want to treat themselves, or if they're going to be using it with any family members, they get an understanding behind the concept of the microcurrent and why it's working. And so it's much, much more than simply doing something. They can actually think about what they're doing. I find that to be absolutely huge. I don't like it when somebody says, go do this, and I don't know why. So this conference will give people a why, and I think gives them a lot more information than is normally possible. The other big thing, of course, is the actual benefit of utilizing the current on themselves, whatever their issues are. This really does help a number of different types of conditions. And so by learning about it and learning about the kinds of things that can help, specifically my talk will be regarding trigger point therapy, people are going to learn how to deal with some of these difficult, painful problems in a way where they can take care of themselves at home instead of constantly returning back to the doctor or therapist's office. I find that to be very huge. So we're basically, this is returning the locus of control back to the person who has the machine and has not only the machine, but the training.
Well, you know, the neat interplay that I find that you and I have, probably to share it with our listeners at this moment, is well worth some time spent, because as you know, and maybe the listeners don't know, everybody starts their microcurrent pathway with meeting me first from a medical viewpoint, so that I can take into account all of their medical issues, from their personal, their psychological, their previous treatments, their ongoing pathologies that may have nothing to do with the pain problem that you address. But when we combine our efforts and the scope of practice as a medical doctor and your scope of practice as a pain clinician, we are able to take in a wide range of things far beyond pain issues alone. Would you talk a bit about the role that you see that when we work together allows you to be more effective? It's all in the diagnoses, and those diagnoses begin the moment I meet somebody. If you get the right diagnoses from me, you're able to come up with frequencies to make this patient's program much more effective than had we not spoken at all. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, that is absolutely true, Dr. Courtney. I think that the most important thing between any therapist and the patient is that if the therapist has an ongoing relationship where they talk with the doctor about what the problem is and what the diagnostics are behind it, it certainly leads to an incredible, better job on the part of the therapist. And that's very uncommon. What you and I do is not what is normal. So, the normal office, the doctor might make a referral out to a therapist and give a diagnosis, but there's not nearly the communication that happens. Whereas I can walk into your office and say, Dr. Courtney, this is what I'm running into, and we have that interplay. And that interplay happens on every single patient. Nobody just comes in and goes straight to see me. So we get that relationship back and forth, and it increases the likelihood of a positive outcome.
Well, I should say,
available very often.
Yeah, I would probably like just to point out a little bit of emphasis. You do not have to have a pain problem in order to benefit from frequency-specific microcurrent. And I know that from your perspective as a pain clinician, the majority of people that you see, they do have those pain problems. What I probably want to get across to the listener is you don't have to have a chronic pain problem in order to have a group of frequencies put together for whatever your medical issues are. Now that is a can of worms that I enjoy opening, because as a medical doctor, being able to finally have another sort of additional thing in my black bag that allows me to reverse ongoing medical issues of a long-standing nature, irrespective or along with a pain problem, has given me a point of view that is now allowing me to treat so many things that I couldn't treat before. That's probably maybe a better way of putting it. And so that's my 2 cents on weighing in. You don't have to have a pain problem. Agreed, Richard? This is so wide-scoped that is able to encompass people with medical issues that don't have pain problems, along with those that might.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, and that is why the interplay between the two of us is absolutely essential. Because I need to know whatever it is that you have going on, and that allows me to be much more effective.
Well, we will continue what we have started, and the benefit to those that happen to see us here in the office, I believe, will continue to progress and become even better with time. We're hoping that people that who are already participating with us, or maybe sitting out there right now and think they'd like to learn more, you're the ideal person to be involved in our Layperson Day. That's April 10th. So head to the website at microcurrentconference.com. You'll see the full agenda there, the speakers and the venues and the times and so on and so forth. And then give us a call here at the office at 724-942-3002. Talk to Sister Sarah and get enrolled. Now, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the other part of this conference, one that we're way overdue with here in Pittsburgh, because best of my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's not much going on here in Western Pennsylvania, or there hasn't been much going on in Western Pennsylvania to educate practitioners. Am I right or am I wrong about that? Richard? Oh, we may have lost. I think we did lose him. All right, let's do this. I'm going to take a short break. We'll have William go find him, and he'll double beat me, and we'll come back in. We're talking with Richard Finn, who's being dispatched to my office right now as we speak. I thought I'd spend some time with him to try to have his take on the up-and-coming conference, and dying to hear about how he feels about the practitioners out there that may be listening to us. So let's take a short break. We'll be back in a moment after we reestablish contact with Mr. Richard Finn. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on your health here on KHB 620. Of course, we're with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. This, on our Monday morning version of the show, a little different in that we're going to finish up the last segment with Mr. Richard Finn, a clinician in trigger point myotherapy, as well as frequency-specific microcurrent. He's actually inbound to my office today, but en route, we're picking his brain a bit about the up-and-coming conference to be held on frequency-specific microcurrent on the weekend of April 10, 11, and 12. We have the opportunity today to share some moments with Richard. Richard, are you there?
I am here, sir.
All right, we lost you a little while back. I was explaining to you off air. I made a guess, or intuitively, it just appears to me that frequency-specific microcurrent, with respect to Western Pennsylvania and this region of the country, this is pretty much untouched territory. There has not been a tremendous amount of education available to practitioners. Would I be right about that, or would I be wrong?
Oh, you'd be wrong, Dr. Courtney. There's been absolutely zero education.
Okay.
In Western Pennsylvania. There hasn't been any whatsoever, and the few of us that have had it have had to travel out of state for it.
Uh-huh.
This upcoming conference is the first time we've actually had anything like this in Western Pennsylvania.
Well, then my initial inclination turns out to be absolutely confirmed. We've been in a black hole when it comes to teaching our practitioners about this valuable tool, and that hole is about to open up and become bright again with light of day coming into it because of the conference coming up here on April 11 and 12 for practitioners. Now, as a practitioner yourself, what message would you like to convey to maybe the listeners out there who are practitioners, medical doctors, osteopaths, physical therapists, myotherapists, naturopaths, massage therapists, the list goes on and on and on. What is it that you want to convey to them that should allow them to consider being a participant in the conference on April 11 and 12? That's a Saturday and Sunday.
Well, in my mind, I will tell you what it did for me. And I hope this really resonates. That's a big thing in FSM with other clinicians, and that is, we all have people that we want to see get better. I mean, that's why we got into this field. At least I would hope that's why we got into it. And after a few years in the field, we tend to learn pretty much what's available to us treatment-wise, and we tend to get stuck in a rut of doing specific things for specific people and hoping that they're going to work. And what this gives us is a completely different perspective and way of thinking about things that we've never had before. We've never had these kind of options to use specific frequencies for specific tissues and for specific conditions and put them together. This is something absolutely unheard of, undone, and so we're doing something incredibly important in the field with this conference in opening it up. I can't imagine being a clinician and having this available to me and missing it.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much in your camp when it comes to that, opening this up, and I really want to encourage anybody listening out there who works with patients in any capacity. It could be in the pain realm. It doesn't have to be specifically in the pain realm, but if you're looking to get an edge in helping you conquer the medical issues that you're seeing, pain-related or not, you should give microcurrent a thought. You should become, head to the website at microcurrentconference.com. Read there about the agendas that are going to be met as we approach April 10, 11, and 12. Of course, April 10 is for lay persons only. 11 and 12 are for practitioners. And get enrolled. I would have to say, just to guess, that this would and should be just the first of many up-and-coming conferences. The practitioner really needs to have an ongoing way that they can take what they learn and build upon it over time. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. This is just simply the beginning, and it's a wonderful thing, too, because that means that once we apply these things, that we learn to do the basics, the future just gets really bright because we start learning to think differently, and then we start asking different questions than we used to ask before. I find that to be very, very important.
Well, I want my listeners to know I've called all my friends, and those are the medical doctors, chiropractors, and osteopathic physicians, physical therapists that I know, and I've invited them. Hey, this is all bets are off. There's nobody should have a market on microcurrent. It should be a field that everybody is invited into, and I'm hoping that when my friends look at this, that they will take me on my honor and my invitation as being nothing but having the purest of reasons, and feel comfortable about coming into an arena that they have to benefit from, their patients are going to benefit from, and if they leave it with this skill and begin to hone it and develop it, it'll make me feel good that friends of mine that currently aren't involved become involved, and their patients benefit from it. So enough said on the matter. Richard, thank you so much for allowing me. Any final words? That I guess I should put it this way. Anything that you want to say finally to close this and allow you to come on in here without wrecking your vehicle?
Yeah, I did have something I really wanted to point out, and that is that the microcurrent blends well with a lot of stuff. It's not simply the answer in and of itself. It is something that is a part of every discipline, or at least can be a part of every discipline. And I think that's what's really important, is that this is why it's such an important conference. We're going to have a room full of all kinds of practitioners. And that interplay that we get from hearing specialists in pain and specialists in internal issues and stuff like that, when we all get in a room together, amazing things happen.
Well, Richard, I think that I'm really glad that I pursued my thought, which was get your impression and let my listeners hear how a practitioner views microcurrent and what you felt about the conference. You're going to be involved in the conference. You're part of the teaching staff. But with all your experience, I thought it was nice that you could share some of your thoughts about it. And thank you so much. Careful on the rest of your journey onto the office today. I'll see you when you get here. And I thank you once again for allowing me to invade this very personal time on your drive to us today. And look forward to seeing you in just a few moments. All right?
Thank you, Dr. Courtney. We'll see you in a few.
All right. There you have it, folks. Mr. Richard Finn, a trigger point myotherapist who about 6 years ago got exposed to microcurrent. There's that Shannon again at work. Teacher turned student, student turned teacher. How about that? All right. We're going to take one final break. If you feel you want to come in and weigh in on the microcurrent issue or any issue at all, we now open it up to you at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We've got about 10 minutes on the way back, and I'll take all questions. I'll listen for that knock on the door, and I will let you in the store. Be right back. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. We're hearing a Monday morning version of the show in the pre-conference mode, trying to get you all prepared for maybe participating as whatever perspective you might have in looking at microcurrent to help you or to treat others that may be under your care. I just spent a little time with Richard Finn on his way to my office today as one who knows quite a bit about this. And I'm now opening it up to you if you've got a mind to weigh in on this at 412-825-6262. We do have a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hi, Doc.
Hi.
I was just calling in. I had a comment and an invitation. As you know, I've been using the microcurrent thing for the last couple of weeks since Richard came into your office.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to let you know that my pain levels are less than they were. So I thought that I would let...
Oh, boy, something finally working for you.
Yep. And, that, you know, you have some ups and downs depending on whatever else is going on in your life, the weather, how much sleep you get, etc. So you've got to give it some time to see the real results. But I see on my little graph me gradually going up with less pain, and that is wonderful because I've not been able to kill pain with anything.
Oh, right. I mean, you don't mind me sharing. A diagnosis here of fibromyalgia is one that has sort of been a death sentence for you because nothing has really ever worked. No matter what we have seemed to do, no matter what clinician was working with you, you had varying degrees of pain to pretty high levels each and every day. Now, if I've heard you right, you finally found, through the use of microcurrent, a way that your pain is being conquered to a level it never had before?
That's what I'm experiencing at this point.
Oh, goodness.
I've got my fingers crossed.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy for you. And that's that diagnosis of fibromyalgia that Shannon was pretty adamant about. I mean, yeah. I mean, she said in her own case, being diagnosed with fibromyalgia, it was what got her completely interested in the use of microcurrent because her pain got turned around pretty rapidly. Also, I'm so happy for you that that finally something is clicking, and it took this microcurrent to be the one that did the clicking. And,
oh yeah, we've been playing with this for 12 years.
Yeah, but 12 years.
I'm looking forward to a really good year, and I'm feeling well enough to invite your listeners to a weed walk this week. I'm doing one on Thursday evening, April 2nd at Upper St. Clair Library, and it's at 7 p.m. But if it's nice, it's a actual slide presentation and hands-on workshop. But if it is nice, it's supposed to be 61 or 71 on Thursday. There also may be rain. If it's nice enough, I will be there at 6, and I will do a half an hour outside along the creek and point out the plants to people so they know what we're talking about in the slideshow. But I'd like to invite everybody to come for the first weed walk of the season. It's going to be great.
Okay, so where's it going to be once again? What's the time?
Upper St. Clair Library, down on the bottom floor in the library. 7 p.m. this Thursday.
This Thursday. All right, Faith, thank you so much. Thanks for weighing in on the microcurrent issue. I'm happy to hear finally something has turned this pain thing around for you.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't be calling you about the weed walk if I couldn't.
Yeah, you've been taken out of commission.
Surprising me.
Yeah, you've been out of commission for quite some time. Glad to have you back. Good luck.
Thanks, Doc.
Absolutely. Faith, folks, Faith Dologowski. Everybody knows her, but she has had her pain issues over these many years. Hey, if you want to weigh in at all on this conference coming up, or frequency-specific microcurrent, give us a call, 724-942-3002. That's that's the call we want you to make if you're interested in enrolling for the conference. But in the next few minutes, if you want to call to weigh in on air, that number is 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Microcurrent is finally making its way to Pittsburgh. I thought my inclination about just being a void area, that this really hasn't been something that Western Pennsylvania has been able to enjoy. What few practitioners there are, and I'm aware of some of them, they have got to go out of town, travel great distances to become educated on this. And there wasn't any ongoing way that they can continue the education without leaving town again. The fact that I'm happy to see that we're finally able to bring this to a local matter, treated in a way that we can educate our clinicians locally. I can only foster many more clinicians who won't have to leave town and will be able to become educated and sophisticated in the use of frequency-specific microcurrent because the teaching of it will be locally. Anyway, if you are a medical doctor, and I've called my friends, an osteopath, I've called those, chiropractor friends, people who are on this radio network, I've called just about every one of them and invited them to come on in and become a part of it. I sure hope they take me up on this. If you are one of that family, please do give us a call. If you're just a clinician working no matter in what role where you treat patients or clients and deal with either pain problems or non-pain related items and you want to find an edge, frequency-specific microcurrent can be that edge. Give us a call at 724-942-3002. You want to talk to Sister Sarah? You probably want to go to the website first. That website address is www.microcurrentconference.com. That's microcurrentconference.com. You'll find the entire agenda there, the day by day. Those who will be teaching, what they're going to be teaching, what the times are, and of course the venue. This venue is going to be at the Crown Plaza Hotel. That's located in South Hills, directly across the street from the South Hills Village on Fort Couch Road. It is a full amenity hotel, but for those of you especially involved as practitioners who maybe want to stay overnight, we have a corporate rate there. When asked, when you call the hotel, the number is on the website. So just go to the website. They'll give you the number to call. The code you'll need is Courtney Medical Group. And with the Courtney Medical Group code, you'll be able to get the corporate rate of $99 a night, substantially better than the regular room rate for those who don't have the code and just have to be able to pass that on to you. We use Crown Plaza Hotel an awful lot for out-of-towners to come in. Okay, we got Bill playing chopsticks in the background. That says it's our time out of here. Enjoyed spending the morning with you. Look forward to you on Wednesday because, well, she'll be back. I'm talking about Dr. Vavavoom herself, Dr. Susan Smith-Jones. So until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AIM Impact on Your Health.